Hey, it's great to have you here today. So on Monday mornings I spent 3.5 hours on the trail with Kirsty on Sunday. Then I had to do a 45-minute weighted vest walk in the afternoon. What was recovery? It was a 1-hour bike ride this morning, and very soon I have to step out the door and do a 55-minute walk run. So this is what I mean by the Nepal training being a little bit more intense than it is than running a marathon. With this, it's actually you want to get kind of fatigued in the morning because you want to get used to walking or doing stuff when you're tired, not only physically but mentally as well. But it's been a really busy day. I've got a big webinar coming up that's at 4:00 in the morning with one of my clients in New York, which is really exciting. I've got an event running in Brisbane and just catching up really on some previous weeks too. But when you're on a bike, I have got a Peloton bike. So usually I'll do like a program. They're really engaging, super, I love the instructors. I do have some of my favorites. Cody Rigsby is one of my favorites. He's the best. And just follow him on Instagram, even if you don't use a Peloton, because he's very funny. But today I was like, I signed up for this 1-year program, which includes that there's like weekly calls, and I haven't really been on there or active in the last 4 to 6 weeks. So I thought I'd just jump in and watch one of their webinars. And it was called, the topic of this webinar was called, very provocative, How to Attract and Land Filthy Rich Clients on Social Media. So I was like, this is going to be juicy. And actually, I haven't even finished watching it because the call went for about 2 hours. I played it at 1.5 the speed, but I'm still now I'm going to listen more for the Q&A. But I just wanted to call out one specific thing. But what they did is they didn't talk about the difference between a rich and a poor client. It's not about that. It's the difference between a rich client and a cheap client, which I think was a very important thing to distinguish in the context of selling to them. They shared things that I've already been thinking about. One thing that Alan Weiss reinforced when I first started working with him all those years ago was if you charge something at a really cheap price, that just signals that you're cheap. Like if you do really low ticket offers or you price something that is just super affordable, people then think that there is no value in that. So that there actually is value in charging more because it is better for your brand as well. So there's stuff like that I kind of already knew, but I love these red flags. I'm not going to share all of them, but they said, here are what cheap clients look like and here's what they say. One is, the first question they ask is, what's the price? That is definitely a red flag to me. I know when people call me and like, oh, we're doing this, what's your day rate? Like that's a kind of a red flag because what it signals to me, maybe not that they're cheap, but they're going to make their decision on price, and they're basically treating you like a commodity that they're going to compare. So they're comparing you with all the other apples in there. And so yes, you can pursue it, but it's going to be a little bit harder because you haven't actually differentiated yourself. Whereas the goal in all of my marketing is like, we want Leanne Hughes. That's the goal. Not like we need another facilitator or another consultant. It's like, no, we need Leanne. And so I'm doing a lot of work on personal branding, content, all of that to build that up. And honestly, I would say even this year, I haven't received that question from corporate clients, really from anyone. That they don't ask what the price is up front. So that's been great. And that's been an evolution because definitely early on, I was getting that question a lot of the time. And this is all part of growth as well. They ask about coupon codes or discounts. They ask if they can pay for your offer by bartering services with you, so a service exchange. They ask if you can do work for free. I think that's an obvious one. They want to jump on a free call with you. That's fascinating. And I guess this for corporates, of course, we have to have a call to scope out work and things like that. I do know fellow consultants that do things like they'll, instead of doing a free call, they offer like for $1,000, I'm going to scope out what you need. And then if we end up doing a project together, I'll take that amount off that. I had friends that have done that for 1K, 5K, for 10K. It's like the first part of this process is the discovery, the auditing, finding out what the gap is like that. They actually charge for that because there is value in it. And then if they're brought in to help solve for that, then they'll be able to deduct it off that. So in terms of calls for free, this has happened even on I've offered just to my email list, more of the solopreneur market, like a $500 offer, and someone wants to jump on a live call with me to see if it's worth it. And that for me, it's not even worth jumping on that call. So what I'm working on, what I really want to start, I don't know if it's like towards the later end of this year or even next year. I'd love to do like an all-inclusive thing where it's just a small group mastermind, includes like events, includes everything I do for the year basically, and they have access to that. That's something I'm thinking about rather than kind of doing one and done events I'm still sorting that out. It's difficult because I'm also trying to, in tandem, do a lot of the corporate delivery as well. Let's go back to this list. There's actually quite a long list here of red flags and signals. They say they don't want self-paced done with you community and just want one-to-one help. Then you quote them the price and they ghost you. They send you an essay that they want you to respond to with another essay. They don't respect your time. They try to negotiate the price of your offer or the inclusions. But look, probably the biggest one, and I read about ROI in the Work Fame article last week, is they ask how much is the ROI on this? And Tim Denning, who is like the co-founder of this program that I'm in, he said that some people buy things with the sole intention of getting ROI, of course. It makes sense for them to do this because if someone wants to buy something, it's logical they want a return on it. The problem is why they do it, because they always focus on the ROI. So that by definition means they're always thinking about the investment, aka the downside, like their sunk cost. Whereas a wealthier client thinks less about the downside so they can have enough energy and attention to go for the upside. It's so true. Like whenever I invest in programs, I invest it and I just forget about the money. It's like, I just think, how can I extract value from this? I don't think, am I earning a 5-to-1 return on this? I never think that way because I think by doing that, I'm just focusing on the downside of the expense. Whereas I always see it as an investment and trying to extract value. And I think that's the type of person I also want to attract to my workers too. Someone that will maybe even look through the value in terms of what I'm offering. Like I can write a sales page or proposal and like list the value, but I love clients that can also see more of the upside in that or work more on their way to extract that. And that's why I also talk about return on luck is like, that's the missing element sometimes is actually what's the lucky break you might get as a result of doing this. Anyway, it was a really fascinating webinar. I'm looking forward to listening to the Q&A, but I thought I'd just share that with you because the best way to learn something is to teach someone else. And so I wanted to reinforce that, like these sort of signals in my own mind, and also, give you something to latch onto too. Thanks so much for listening and I'll speak to you tomorrow.